Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Happy Saturday and hope everyone's having a great day so far. But first everybody, don't forget that next Friday, I'll be announcing the winner of a free $100 Amazon gift card. And if you would like to enter to win, all you have to do is share this video with your friends and family. And subscribe to my channel.
And you know, once this bill passes the Senate, I know that body will move toward establishing a framework for the remainder of my Build Back Better agenda.
So this is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. Now we have a ton of news to go over in today's fourth stimulus check update. So according to the Motley Fool, there may be a fourth stimulus check. Yes everybody, as we know, more and more Democratic lawmakers are pushing for a fourth stimulus check to be approved. And there's just one thing that lawmakers seem to agree upon. At this point, there's enough data on the 3-round stimulus checks that went out to see how much of an impact that those payments made. And according to the Tax Foundation, the first round of stimulus checks was the most effective in spurring economic recovery, as 75% of that money was spent quickly upon being sent out. And the second and third stimulus rounds, however, did less for the economy. More than 70% of the money received during the second and third stimulus rounds was used by US consumers to pay off debt or go into their savings account. Well, personally everybody, I believe that a fourth stimulus check is still definitely necessary, as more states end the unemployment benefits and the eviction moratorium coming closer to an end. Day by day, Americans still need a fourth stimulus check. And if you guys agree with me, then don't forget to share this video with your friends and family.
A bill which I think will have an extraordinarily positive impact on working families, and that will deal with the issues of extending the child tax credit, that $300 a month check for working families for their kids.
Because I'll be going over the very important stimulus check information that you just have to know. So folks, here's what you have to know surrounding the fourth stimulus check. Since the last two stimulus rounds had less of an economic impact, Americans may in fact be in line for another stimulus check for one big reason. Stimulus rounds are the one relief measure lawmakers on both sides of the aisle can actually agree upon. In the days leading up to the CARES Act, a study found that 89% of Democrats and 85% of Republicans supported a one-time direct payment. Given the way that Democrats and Republicans tend to clash on so many economic issues, this type of agreement is pretty rare. So it's good to see that Democrats and Republicans finally agree that more stimulus relief is needed.
And have tried to support the bipartisan group in every way that we can. Like a lot of us, I'm interested in what it looks like at the end. But I'm in favor of trying to get an outcome on a bipartisan infrastructure package. The past two administrations tried to do it, were unable to.
In fact, everybody, the political popularity of stimulus checks may be the reason we see more of them in the future. Not just in the context of the current crisis, but in situations that emerge once it's over. Since lawmakers seem to agree that stimulus checks are effective, they could be a tool that's tapped during future economic recessions, even ones that aren't spurred by a global health crisis. And let's remember, back in January, one of President Biden's first legislative priorities was to pass a large-scale relief bill that would form the first stage of his administration's crisis recovery efforts. President Biden did announce the details of the American Rescue Plan shortly before entering the White House, but it was not until March 13th that he was able to sign it into law, after protracted negotiations in Congress. Without any Republican support in the Senate, Biden was forced to push the package through, using reconciliation. And the $1.9 trillion stimulus package was one of the largest of its kind in American history, and it provided direct support in the form of stimulus checks and the reformed child tax credit. In total, everybody, these two programs alone could be worth over $12,000 to a typical family. But I want to know your thoughts on this, everybody. Did any of you guys benefit from receiving from the third stimulus check? Let me know down in the comments. Now, two of the most notable elements of the recent relief bill were the stimulus checks and the monthly payments for the child tax credit recipients, both of which were more generous than the predecessors. The third round of stimulus checks provided $1,400 for individual taxpayers with an AGI of less than $75,000, and $1,400 each for married couples earning less than $150,000. For the first time, adult dependents such as college students, elderly relatives, and disabled adults will also be entitled to the payments. Child dependents are still eligible for the full amount, and the child tax credit nearly doubles the maximum amount on offer for parents with children under the age of 6, receiving an annual total of up to $3,600. So everybody, parents have come to expect to receive monthly payments from the expanded child tax credit, but for August, the payment will be issued on a different date than usual. Last month, the credit was paid on July 15th, and subsequent payments will be made on the 15th of the month for September, October, November, and December. Plus, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said now the White House has not made a decision on whether the expanded unemployment benefits launched during the crisis or should expire in September. President Biden previously stated in June that it makes sense to let the benefits expire on the current timeline, given the harsh critiques that Republicans and some economists had launched against the program over the past year. Yet a number of Democratic lawmakers have called for making the crisis expansions permanent. Psaki told reporters at Friday's White House press briefing that there has not been any discussion about this at the point. And when asked about unemployment benefits in light of the report, President Biden said himself that the statistics prove that the Biden plan is working, and the Biden plan produces results, and the Biden plan is moving the country forward. The president also stated economic growth is the fastest in 40 years. Jobs are up, the employment rate is the lowest since the crisis hit. What do you think about this, everybody? Is President Biden and the Democrats doing all that it takes to help out the American people like you and I? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And until next time, have a great day and stay safe.
Coming next, and that is the Democrats' reckless $3.5 trillion tax and spending spree. And we know it's going to raise taxes on middle-income Americans. I am particularly concerned and interested in this subject because agriculture is our #1 industry in South Dakota, and farmers and ranchers stand to bear the brunt of a lot of these tax increases. There was a study done by Texas A&M, and in their 30-state region that is contained in their database, they said that every farm and ranch operation would be impacted, and that the average tax liability for farm or ranch operation in this country would be $700,000 under the Biden proposal. In South Dakota, and like a lot of states that are represented here today, we have generationally owned, family-owned small businesses, farms and ranches. You want to see them to be able to pass that on to the next generation. And what this double death tax would do, as the leader alluded to, not only do you have the death tax, which hits these farm and ranch operations, but now you will have this new increased capital gains tax, which does away with what's called the step up in basis, which dramatically increases the tax liability for people in this country. And we're not talking about rich people. The gentleman that the leader referred to in Kentucky pays himself $75,000 a year. He invested in these apartment buildings 27 years ago, and he was hoping at the age of 64 to be able to have a little nest egg for retirement. And his tax advisor has told him that it would reduce his take-home pay.